Welcome back to the Breakroom. The DCU continues to forge on, but does it have the strength to stay? I'm Brandon Barrick. Who cares? Joining me today, we got Coy Jandreau.
So excited to be here. I think it has the strength. It is the universe of steel to come.
Oh, the Man of Steel, the universe of steel. Speaking of Men of Steel, we got Tommy Bechtold here today.
Did you know that some snakes have 2 dicks?
Check out our Twitch to find out more.
The man of Mr. Steal Your Woman. Here he is, folks. He's full of snake facts today, so watch out. Blue Beetle came out last week. I don't know if you guys know this. So we thought we'd go through the upcoming DCU slate and discuss what might happen in the DCU.
Are we going to be promoting these upcoming movies?
We're not promoting these upcoming movies. And why is that, Tommy?
Because we're on strike, mother effers. The greedy AMPTP has decided that we're not worth paying fair wages, writers and actors. No. They must keep their pieces of the pie. Inflation? Incapacitation. We don't need it. All we got to do is keep those same minimums that have been around for 20 years. It's not like things have gotten more expensive. For me, gas has always been $7 a gallon at the Chevron in Burbank. When I go to California. In Canada, I pay for gas in liters, of course.
Yeah,
so
Canadian dollars.
We're not promoting any of these titles. We're not telling you to go see them. We hope the strike is resolved soon. We can get back to promoting movies and telling you, hey, go see this. This is great. But for now, we will editorialize. We will react. We will pontificate. But we will not promote. Yeah. And we stand with the WGA, and we stand with my near and dear union SAG, of which I paid an ungodly amount of dues this week to stay a member of. Yeah. But you know what? I pay those dues willingly.
Yeah.
My children will starve, but I will pay my dues. So
your dues are in action. It's great to see the power of the worker.
Oh, in all seriousness, yes. You pay your dues and you wonder where it goes, and then you see we have the ability to keep these picket lines safe, and we have the ability to support some of our less fortunate union members that are really, really struggling, and all of that. Is good. Anyway, let's keep the show tight.
Right. And part of our discussion today will be, because these strikes are still going on, they have not come to a resolution yet. A lot of things we're going to be talking about today, some of the dates, they're probably in flux. They're probably going to change.
Yes.
So we'll get into it all. And before we get too deep into it, let's do a quick overview of the different DC terms and eras, okay? We all remember the Snyderverse. It's not quite finished yet. There's one more Aquaman to come out.
My God, the Snyderverse is like Michael Myers.
It's
you
just
think
when
it's dead, and then it's just like, Amber Heard.
So that's the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse, also known as the DCEU. And then we have James Gunn and Peter Safran's DCU.
And that's kind of like the future.
That is
the promised land of milk and honey that we will have as our reward for surviving the DCEU and the many, many questionable creative decisions.
And maybe Blue Beetle is the DCU. It kind of seems like they want it to be, but not like officially.
There are elements in the movie I think will tie in, making it kind of like the Incredible Hulk of the DCU.
Right. And then there's also Elseworlds, which is kind of the other projects that are under the DC umbrella, using DC characters, but aren't necessarily part of the main DCU story.
Like Batman, The Batman 2,
The Batman.
Joker, Folie de something.
All that stuff.
I think Adventures with Superman's going to continue, which would be an Elseworlds.
The animated.
Yeah, the Jack Quaid Superman.
Oh, nice.
So who fits in where? Which DCEU characters do we think we'll see return? We talk about Blue Beetle, right? He's probably going to stick around. I think they want to use more with him.
I like that kid too.
Yeah,
I want him to keep having a career in the DC just because I think he's good.
It was a fun movie. It's a real shame it came out during these strikes. They weren't allowed to promote it. They weren't allowed to really relish in their moment of having a new hero, especially a diverse hero out there. So I'm sure we'll see more of Blue Beetle. Aquaman, specifically Jason Momoa Aquaman. We're going to talk about the sequel here in a second, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which comes out December 20th, 2023, as of right now. Might get pushed. It's a movie that's undergone a lot of reshoots, very many reshoots.
And reshoots that have also been announced, then cut.
Right.
And then, that movie has a whole separate movie of cameos that have been deleted out of it at this point.
I'd say it and The Flash are probably two of the most recut movies ever.
Yeah. And you mentioned Amber Heard, who is a character from the first movie, who is supposed to be a part of the second one, but we don't know how much she's in it anymore. Yeah. Who knows? And then, of course, they added Jason Momoa as a cameo post-credit scene in The Flash. it seemed to be a different version of Momoa than the DCEU version. He seemed, I wouldn't say like depowered, but that's because we saw him on land. He's in his drinking phase. But he just seems like he didn't even know he was Aquaman, or was like a very casual Aquaman.
I thought the slight nod to it was that he laid face down in the puddle. It wasn't like suffocating, right? Like that was like the only thing that was kind of like, oh.
I do that trick at parties all the time now. You know, you can drown in 6 inches of water, so be very careful, folks. Don't play that trick.
You know, a lot of snakes have 6 inches of something that can suffocate you.
I heard they have 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I think this one stays.
Yeah, they're gonna keep Momoa. They like Momoa.
Well, I mean the movie. I think it stays this year because at this point they're just trying to like get it all out there. I feel like this is going to be like, okay, we're done, and that way next year they only have an Elseworld, and that gives you a little time to breathe before James Gunn's universe starts.
Yeah,
I think it's a conscious decision to be like, okay, we tried reshooting it. We've had these like test screenings that apparently I think they just want it out.
And this was a movie that was supposed to come out last December 2022. They pushed it to 2023.
Yeah.
And then when they were having these articles a few weeks ago about Warner Brothers pushing movies, one of them, they mentioned Aquaman 2 in that. They mentioned Dune 2. As of yesterday, that has been pushed.
Yeah,
There's still no word on Aquaman 2, but I think you're right that they want to get it out.
And I don't honestly think they want to tie. I think the closer the old comes into the new, the more the association will be there. I think that they want to have this a full year removed. I think that you need that time.
I think you're right. And I also, this is just a little box office Nostradamusing.
Do it.
Aquaman was $1 billion film.
$1 billion movie.
What percentage drop off do you think Aquaman 2 has? Do you think it hits $1 billion again?
I'm gonna go with a 50% drop off.
I think that sounds about right. But also, like a $500 million DC movie
they wouldn't complain right now.
That's a win
huge right now
for them, right? Because Shazam barely made $250, right?
And Christmas is a good time to just like, what do you want to see? Oh, the new Aquaman's out. I think it's an unceremonious.
People like Jason Momoa. It's not like the issue you have with The Flash, where the lead is somewhat controversial.
And you can't have him in interviews and stuff.
Natural.
Well, that's what's tricky about, like, people were saying, Barbie made all that money even though the strike was on, but, like, they'd already pre-filmed all their press. They'd already done the tour. Yeah. So everyone that keeps being like, why would you move Dune if Barbie came out?
I mean, the strike started.
Yeah, but, like, that's not a fair comparison.
They had a pink carpet with tons and tons and tons of celebrities
a week before the
wearing
strike.
Full pink, going like, Barbie rules.
And the biggest marketing campaign I can remember with more brand deals. And to this day, I see really cool Barbie marketing because it was filmed pre-strike.
Yeah.
There was no opportunity there won't be for Dune, and there certainly wasn't for Blue Beetle. Yeah. So I think we need to look at the future differently than the Barbie bar.
Right.
I agree.
But heaven forbid the strike is still going on in December. Like, I think they want Momoa out there to promote this movie. If it's not available, you could see it get pushed. I don't know. Heaven forbid that's still going.
I think that there's enough goodwill around Jason Momoa that the movie will do well. I just don't. I thought it was curious at the time that it made $1 billion. Right. I liked the movie, but it was like, wow. Maybe that was also a time where movies were popping off and people were boffo for the box office.
It was pre-streaming overlay where everybody just assumes they'll wait. Like, I think there's a new era of like, wait for streaming. That wasn't there.
Which is so weird because, like, I think about seeing Oppenheimer or Barbie. Either of those not in the theater seems like such a diminished experience. Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
Personally, myself, when I think about it, I don't remember seeing a ton of marketing for Barbie. Let's talk about The Flash. Will Ezra Miller return as The Flash?
No,
probably not.
They're done with them.
That movie did not perform very well.
Unless there is some strange Ezra Miller call to action at Warner Brothers where they're like, we need to get them in as many movies as possible. You now have the perfect out to end your relationship with whether however you fall, a problematic figure in terms of viewership. There are certain people that will actively not see work that they're working on, or there are other people that, for many different reasons, some valid, some not. So I think you have now the kind of phenomenally well reported failure of The Flash as an excuse to move on from them. And this isn't my own opinion, this is just kind of what people are saying. If they were to stick with them as the star of The Flash, there would have to be some thing that we're all missing, right?
Which is why I think the Wonder Woman 3 like confusion isn't the case. Like I don't see a world where we fold in any old characters at this point because of the response to the last couple of movies. It would just sully the new universe. And I think honestly we're gonna have the Amanda Waller stuff as an Elseworld. I think we're gonna have the Peacemaker as an Elseworld, because Peacemaker does tie into the old universe. So I think that it'd be smarter to have the Elseworlds be able to coexist. And I think that's the strength of the Batman and a new Batman in the DCU, is you can have the Waller show come out, you can have Peacemaker, and then what I would do long game is in 15 years when the new guard is aging out and we have a nostalgia, then do a Kingdom Crisis. You do a Crisis on Infinite Earths, you do a Kingdom Come meets Crisis, and then you have like, oh my god, remember Ben Affleck, remember Henry Cavill, and then you like make double the money. You do your Endgame, you do your Secret Wars, and you save all these relationships.
Fire this guy, come on.
Right there, guys, it writes itself.
I can't wait to be here on set with you two fine gentlemen in 15 years as the oceans are rising.
As Aquaman is a documentary.
As the microplastics burst out of our veins. Talking about the DC.
They burst out here, and you guys are like, he's evolving. Those are gills.
And
but what it really is my like thoracic artery exploding. And
there's still 7 people online like, release the Snyder Cut too.
I need to see Rebel Moon tie in with the Star Wars universe. What could have been?
Go to Planet Netflix, tune in, and see it all.
Program 10 more bots to repeat this message.
Well, you brought up Elseworlds, Coy, so let's dive into those for a second. Do you think we'll ever see like any Elseworlds characters connect? You know, for instance, we have Joker Faladu coming out as of right now, October 4th, 2024, where we'll have Joaquin Phoenix returning as the Joker, Lady Gaga appearing as Harley Quinn. And of course, in another Batman Elseworld universe, we have The Batman Part 2, which is slated right now for October 3rd, 2025, which had a Joker cameo at the end of that. So that's like another Elseworlds Joker. And plus there's also going to be a Penguin show.
Well, yeah, the Batman and the Joker are separate worlds, because there's a young Bruce Wayne in the Joker. So the Batman universe, the Reeves verse would be like Earth 2, whereas like Joker would be like Earth 75 or whatever. But like, I don't think we'll ever have any interaction between either of those worlds, because that would negate the whole point of an Elseworld.
We're not going to have all the Jokers get together and joke
unless they Crisis on Infinite Earths would be the only time that would like allow for it to happen. And that's why I think when we hit the point where the nostalgia we have for like Phase 1 Marvel is going to happen quicker because generation gaps are getting shorter. The nostalgia we have for all these elements in the Fox universe, that was only 15 years ago, but it feels like 30 because of how rapid things are. I guarantee within 10 years of the DCU starting, we'll need the nostalgia of the Cavill Affleck element. And then you do their version of Endgame could be even bigger because it's a more recent, those actors still can play those roles.
They got to do it while Nicholson's still alive. Even though that Joker was killed.
That Joker did
but
die.
Totally plays in Elseworld.
Yeah.
But
totally plays.
And I think the Batman universe, the Pattinson Batman universe, the Joker universe, to me, it does set up. It's a metaverse in DC, right? Not a multiverse, or is it a?
I think it is a metaverse.
They call it something different, I thought. But anyway, those do feel like two entirely different worlds, right? Like they feel like two entirely different realities. So for them to cross in is a perfect multiverse thing, because they already seem like they're existing in two different realities. Like, and then you throw in the DCU or the DCEU, those also feel like completely different realities where people interact differently, things look different. You can even say the lighting in those two films, the Batman, a tremendously dark film, but the Joker just kind of a like sepia toned movie. Like it was like the colors were when he like changed his appearance. Everything else was kind of like beige, brown, gray, you know. And
what I think that James Gunn's going to do is go pretty comic-y, because what we've seen so far is, you know, Batman is going to be the family element with Damian Wayne. What we see of Superman Legacy is going to be like a year 2 story where he's not an origin, but he's early on. So I think there's going to be a lot brighter universe in DC.
Sweet Corn. My boy Sweet Corn.
Yeah, I mean, you know, seeing what James Gunn did with, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy, very bright, very cheery, fun movies, but a lot of color to it, and even like the Suicide Squad. You know, he had like Harley Quinn with like the flowers and stuff, Polka Dot Man, like lots of fun to be had. More colors, certainly a brighter color palette. Even through like the Peacemaker show and all that.
And I think that that's more comic centric, and that's why I think the strength of the Elseworld is keeping the Batman and Joker separate to be more real and have the comic centric main universe.
This all just made me think of the David Ayers interview with John Bernthal on Real Ones, where he's like, that Warner Brothers just killed me with Suicide Squad. Like he was like, I made a Suicide Squad that was sad, like gloomy and sad and like made you question your life, and then they were like, no, movies have to be funny, and they turned it into a comedy. And now I think he's burned so many bridges at Warner Brothers that it's like they'll never release that cut of his movie. Like the one that he shot.
And I'm so curious because like Fury's incredible, Training Day's incredible.
Right,
Like I'd love to see what Ayer tried to have be his vision. And
that's
like,
how I feel.
Seems like it's all shot. I don't know, I'd like to see
feels like it's all there. It exists to be cut. Like,
blame that trailer house for making a fun.
The irony, the cosmic
trailer.
irony.
It changed that whole movie.
Can you imagine, like, just James Gunn made a movie that was so big it changed the cut of a trailer, and then years later he'd be fired by that company, and then hired by the company that wanted him, and then rehired by the original company, and then got to make Guardians and the Suicide Squad, and now runs the original company they wanted to replicate his style of? That's crazy.
I think James Gunn is like a Booster Gold. He came from the future to fuck up our cinematic universe.
And he's like, now I control all of them.
Yeah, and now he controls all of them.
So casting James Gunn as Lex Luthor. Just controlling everything.
That would really be the ultimate gun flex.
He's like, I don't put all my friends and family in this. I'm in this.
Is that the ultimate gun flex?
You know what? This has been a riot.
What kind of riot?
And I just thought about something. What a horrible time to promote NerdRiot.shop as none of us.
Well, this is a Nerd Riot shop. This was technically the Suicide Squad design.
Oh,
it's got the flowers, the Harley Quinn flowers on the back.
Well, I think we were going by a different name then. That shall not be named. But guess what we do have right now, guys? Unbelievable Star Wars themed sports style merchandise. We've got the Coruscant Troopers. What size is that? I might be taking that home for the weekend.
I don't know.
This is a
we got the
medium. Not today, Satan.
The Tython lightsabers.
Tython lightsabers. That's
lightsiders.
Lightsiders. Okay, that's a new one. And then we also have our new Ahsoka line. Is that the Sabine Wren one?
Wren, I believe.
I love the Sabine Wren one. My Ahsoka one is my favorite new shirt that I wear currently. So comfortable. I like to feel that like this shirt is from JCPenney's, but spiritually the fabric is very similar to the NerdRiot.shop. Just imagine some nerdy thing here. Go to NerdRiot.shop to check out our merch. Support the new Rockstars network. And remember, when you buy a shirt from NerdRiot.shop, you stick it to these greedy companies because they don't make a penny. Disney don't make nothing on our shirts, okay? Me and Disney have something in common with NerdRiot.shop. Neither of us benefit a cent from it.
Oh, okay.
But get these sweet shirts. I've been getting compliments from everywhere. People coming up, street, tears in their eyes, saying, Tommy, I love your shirt. We can't trust other shirts. What they're doing to your shirts are so disrespectful, so treasonous, so sad, but we love you. We love your shirts.
So
Keep
much
wearing
crime
your
in
shirts.
other shirts.
They're trying to make the wind make shirts. Honey, the wind is keeping us from watching television. That's just a throwback to our insane former leader. Anyhow, go to nerdriot.shop. Throw a brick through a window this weekend in honor of the Riot Squad.
Stop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't do that. I mean, you could throw a brick through a window that you own.
Tell him Tommy sent you.
We don't want to be associated.
We don't want to be associated. Thank you for that enlightening insight, Tommy. Let's look at James Gunn's upcoming slate. Okay? And now it's helpful to note that all of these other projects are most certainly going to be delayed at this point because of the strikes. Though James Gunn is writing Superman Legacy.
And it's done.
He said it's done?
He said it's done.
Oh. Yeah, he might just be saying that because he's
like at home, he's like, it's been done. It's been done.
Pencils down.
It's done.
That is currently scheduled for July 11th, 2025 as a release date. It's the first official DCU project under Gunn and Safran. James Gunn will be directing this and writing it. Tons of fucking pressure. I was shocked that he was announced that he was going to direct this one because I was like, you want to direct the first one at the gate? Oof.
Confidence.
That's a lot of confidence. I mean, it paid off before. We've got a new Superman and our good boy, David Cornsweet.
Yeah, sweet corn.
And our new Lois Lane is Rachel Brosnahan.
Miss Maisel.
the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
God, I love her. She's so great.
Yeah. We also have Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl.
Nice.
Edie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific.
Hell yeah. I'm
Nathan
very
Fillion, Guy
excited
Gardner.
for that.
That's right. And yeah, Nathan Fillion's going to be playing Guy Gardner.
And I love the Eddie Gathegi revenge tour after they killed the unkillable Darwin.
Yeah.
How do you kill the only unkillable X-Man in the first movie he's in? You make him come back as Mr. Terrific. That's what you do.
That, I will say, one of the greatest, probably because we have bigger fish to fry things, is the callous way that the X-Men franchise killed. I mean, like in Days of Future Past, they just had like Banshee and remind me again of Zoe Kravitz's character's
Angel.
name. Is that
She was like, which was weird because Angel's also the guy with the wings.
They
So
like
she's
killed
a
them via file.
Spitfire.
Pixie is
Yeah, she got killed like off
They
camera.
just opened the file and they're like, Banshee, X through him. Angel, X through her. It's like, oh, cool. So they're just, these characters just
We
don't
own the rights to this image.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
dead
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Right.
We're not paying them $10,000 to show them in a flash.
Until Deadpool 3.
That's
And
right.
do you think it's smart to kind of kick off the DCU with Superman? I mean,
Yes.
that's their biggest well-known name. I mean, you could argue Batman, but whether or not you like Batman more than Superman or Superman more than Batman, Superman was like the first mainstream
He's the most
comic,
iconic.
most iconic character.
The only
most
difference,
well-known.
the only thing is you could say is Detective Comics, DC, Detective Comics.
Yeah.
Start with a detective. But they already have a successful Batman
There's so many Batmans.
movie going.
Yeah,
they
there's
have
so much
a
going
Batman
on.
franchise that is thriving. Flirty and thriving. 30, flirty and thriving. Yeah.
I think it's tough because like Superman is a tough character to pull off in modern.
I believe in Corn Sweat. I believe in him.
You believe in him?
He's going to do it.
I think James Gunn wouldn't be signing on to all these things unless he was so sure. And I do think that he wouldn't have even taken the original job if he didn't love his Superman script enough, and if the powers that be didn't see that potential. So I think starting with Superman is intentionally a vote of confidence. I think it's very calculated. Like, we need to start with Superman. It hasn't been done the way that the fans of the comics have seen him. There are people that like the Elseworlds we've had, but we haven't seen the comic accurate Superman in so long, since
Right.
Brandon Routh, and that was Brandon Routh is tricky because it's like that's a sequel to a movie from the 70s,
Right.
and all these people that are mad at James Gunn for firing Henry Cavill, like your guy fired Brandon Routh. If you look at it that way, like, it's just like he got rid of the guy that was just hired as Superman 3 years earlier.
Right.
So it's I think it's a clean slate. I think it's a way to start, and I think it's also what you need to build the Justice League is a center point, and I think Superman as a center point is smart.
Well, and I like the idea that it's a younger Superman with older established heroes already there.
Yeah.
He's not the first hero.
I can't wait to see Justice, because if you have Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, if you've got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, you've got Isabella Merced, you're going to dive into a world, you're probably going to cut to a couple scenes of the Justice League, not a ton, but it's going to go like, our universe is already established, and you're going to see more of these characters. Now we're focused on Superman, because I think Lois and Jimmy are going to be one half of his life. I think the Justice League's going to be the other half, and it's going to be a story of how he balances those lives, and that'll be a really fun way to do a different take on Superman.
As long as at one point he takes his chest shield and throws it at someone, and
They go into the Phantom Zone.
They go into the, and I want to see Pa Kent shooting at the blankets from his ship. That's my favorite thing ever. Okay, you speak about older heroes already existing. One of them might be Batman, because another project that's slated, right? It's Batman: The Brave and the Bold, which is the name of a comic story arc. The current director is Flash director Andy Muschietti. I say current director. He will probably be the director of this, though I don't even know how far along they could even be right now. If they've even started writing, because they haven't announced a writer for this or anything.
It's because they can't.
Well, yeah, but there wasn't nothing established before before the strikes and stuff. There are lots of rumors out there, of course. But the fact of the matter is they likely are very, very far away from casting the new Batman.
Yeah, I love the casting rumors coming out during a strike. I'm like, no one's doing auditions.
Well, there was like rumors of like they were approached before the strike about this. It was like, okay, I don't know.
There's a reason they released all that information like as the strike was starting. Like, I think it was so funny. They were clearly going to have a big panel at Comic-Con. Like, all those announcements were clearly going to be bringing out Philly and bringing out Isabella and all those things. And then it's like, well, there's no Comic-Con and Deadline article. There's no way they've didn't do that with Batman.
Is there any chance that we see George Clooney as this Batman?
It's an Elseworld. It's an Elseworld.
He's an Elseworld.
I kind of like
You're
it.
an Elseworld.
I kind of like it. Let him back. Let him back.
He's
Give
up
him
there in a
chance.
million pieces.
Give him a chance.
Also, Damian Wayne's like probably going to be like 9.
So
everyone.
Al
That's,
Pacino just had a kid.
that's true. Andrew
Yeah,
and
Clooney's,
De Niro.
Clooney's twins are like 7.
Yeah, well, I'm saying is people think he's going to be so much older than Superman. Dude could be like 35.
That's true. Yeah,
Like that's not an unrealistic.
I
age
had
to
a
have
baby when I was 12.
it's true.
A burrito baby.
This film will, of course, feature Damian Wayne as Bruce Wayne's son.
Oh, yes.
So that I hope it's very directly related to the Superman movie. And
I hope they
somehow
cast Ben
establish that's the
Platt as
same-
Damian Wayne. I think he should keep playing younger.
Keep the wig. Keep the wig from.
I'm Damian Wayne.
Oh, this
What
is
musical?
singing Damian Wayne.
I'm Damian Wayne.
Does he have the cast? Is it a?
And
it's a
he's
full-
already friends with Corn Sweat.
Okay, there you go. Another project that's slated is Creature Commandos. This is an animated show. 7 episodes. They're apparently done recording the voices. It has also been teased that these characters could appear in like live action.
Well, wasn't that the rule that James had initially laid out? He's kind of
Yeah.
walked it back a bit, where he's like, if you voice a character in the DCU,
Right.
you play them on camera. But that feels like it was more of a thing to like tell his like live action actors, like, you're gonna be doing some voice work.
Yeah.
Get ready to get in the
video
booth.
games.
Yeah.
You're going to be everywhere.
This is also like a threat that Marvel has made too, right? Where they're like, the what if stuff was canon, and they said you could see crossover of characters. Like we could be seeing Jeffrey Wright appear in live action as Uatu the Watcher. No one has like officially done it yet. We haven't seen the full
closest-
crossover yet.
I
The
think the
closest
closest-
is maybe Captain Carter.
Yeah, I was gonna, but that
But that was a
felt like
different
slightly
Captain
different
Carter.
Captain Carter.
It was a different Captain Carter.
and like the zombie
She
Doctor
did.
Strange was different.
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
just they teased but then didn't follow through.
They haven't really pulled the trigger yet. I mean, Sony kind of did it in Across the
Yeah,
Spider-Verse.
they're the first to really make an Elseworld into film and
They
animated.
still didn't
crossover.
say like this was an animated guy that you're now seeing in live action. They haven't like done that yet.
Well, they had Spot appear in Venom in that verse.
Wow.
That's that animated character in the world.
Well,
of
it
Venom.
wasn't like when he came through the wall, he wasn't like a live action person. It was still animated.
Right.
And that was just repurposing some footage. I can't believe they didn't shoot new footage for that. They literally reused the shot from the movie of her talking to Eddie Brock.
Shout out Entertainment Lab. That
Annie-
woman and I are the
Anne
same
Whaley?
manager. So
Yeah,
there's
that
some,
was frustrating.
You
They didn't
never
even find
know.
like a deleted scene or something that they
I
could
could
have
be in Venom.
reused. You could be in Venom.
Venom, I am Venom, Eddie.
Oh, you're Venom.
Venom.
Eddie, we must release. I need release, Eddie. You
Venom,
must-
how many dicks do you have?
I have 2
Oh, okay, great.
that I know of.
That answers my question.
More can appear if you imagine them.
Oh, okay. Eddie.
So we got Waller coming out, guys. This is, of course, a spin-off on the Peacemaker series. Voila, Davis. Just kidding. It's Viola. Oh, my God. But what if her name was pronounced Voila? I think that would be awesome.
You made it a sentence. You made it a whole sentence.
Viola Davis is reprising her role as Amanda Waller. This will be set before Peacemaker S2.
Where did Amanda Waller first appear? Was it?
She was in the
Justice
original Suicide
or
Squad.
Suicide?
Yeah.
No,
she was
I was
in-
just asking if that was her first appearance.
Yeah, she was in Suicide Squad.
She also
which
was on the
David
show
Ayer.
Arrow, which is not, but she was in Arrow. That
As
character,
Waller?
There was not Viola Davis. There was an Amanda
There was a
Waller in
Waller.
that universe that got murdered and stayed dead, which is crazy.
And T'Challa's mom was Amanda Waller in the Green Lantern movie.
That's
Oh.
right.
It was a fun little multiverse moment.
Did Waller show up in any other non-Suicide Squad Peacemaker things? Did she ever show up in? She's
feel
in.
like she's in
she's
one
in the
more
post-credit, or she's in Shazam 2.
Black Adam. Black
right?
Adam.
She's in Black
Adam. I mean, sorry.
But I thought there was one more thing before Black Adam.
Did
but I
she
can't
ever
place
show
it.
up in Justice League or anything like that? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't think she was in Snyder Cut.
I have a question. Is Green Lantern considered DCEU?
It's considered no, because they soft rebooted after it because they were considering
It was
that was going to be the
pre-
kickoff,
Ah.
and they made Man of Steel not connect to it.
Green Lantern is in its own little bubble.
It's by itself, but would be great in a crisis. Imagine like if in a crisis
Oh
you just
my
did like
God.
Green
Yeah, yeah.
Lantern, like
Yes.
Oof.
be so happy.
We are getting a Green Lantern spin-off series.
That's
That was
fun.
another thing that James got announced. Do you think Nathan Fillion could show up on this series? If they're gonna set it in the same world,
I think it'd be
as
smart, too.
Superman.
Yeah,
have him
that seems
punch
very
to show up
smart. We
there.
know he can carry a show. He's got, his responsibilities on the Rookie, but that's now on its second spin-off, so that feels like once a show has spun off at least twice.
The Rookie
about
has 2 spin-offs.
I think there's another one coming. There's another Rookie coming. But I also feel like the way that you can shoot these like premium cable shows now too, though, if he desires, it's basically a film shoot, right? Because they do like 6 episodes, and they're like, it's basically like working on a film. So if he wanted to be an element of the Green Lantern core show, I'm sure he could. And I think it'd be, as Coy said, very, very relevantly, it would be smart.
And if you want to tie in the film and TV, you really need to have as many of those anchor points as you can, which is something Marvel hasn't been doing great, is tying in their shows to the TV. So I think DC having a Green Lantern show, it'd feel odd if the movie Green Lantern we've met in Superman didn't there.
Show up, yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be based around Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, which aren't as tied to Guy Gardner in that way. But I think it's going to be a Jon Stewart-centric show of maybe Hal passing the torch, and that would allow more core to be in there. But they said True Detective, which makes it like interestingly grounded.
Yeah, that's right. What a great comparison. I forgot.
And if it's like we don't even know if the Lantern series would be on Earth or at Lantern.
I'd love if it was like a sinister
Lantern Corps HQ or something.
Yeah, if they're in space hunting down some murder mystery, because they're space cops. So I'd love to see something cosmic but grounded. So like True Detective, but it's like a interstellar murder.
Booster Gold is getting a series. We talked about Booster Gold famously wreaking havoc. Is that where James Gunn admits his whole plan? He's like, I am from the future. I've come here to be a little rascal. You all followed Loki as the god of mischief. I am the true god of mischief. I am James Gunn.
We are getting a Booster Gold series, and in Blue Beetle, they teased Ted Kord, who famously in the comics hangs out with Booster Gold a lot.
My pitch is we have the modern day Booster Gold go back in time to that Ted Kord. That's how Ted Kord gets stuck, and then you have modern elements like Twitter and TikTok, and you basically have Booster Gold be a TikToker.
What's Twitter?
Trying to get clout.
Oh, I love that.
Because Booster Gold's just a narcissist that's a hero for
that's fun.
Imagine you see like a TikToker. Imagine Logan Paul before he started boxing going I'm saving lives.
Get our boy Shane Hardline, who was a stormtrooper on Kenobi. Get him to be Booster Gold. He's a great TikToker. He's fabulous on TikTok. Yeah, I say Shane Hardline for Booster Gold. Early fan casting.
The guy
first.
from what's Game Night? Blonde guy. He's so funny.
Oh God,
he's my booster.
Yes. Are you talking? There's two. There's Jesse Plemons and Billy Magnuson.
Billy Magnuson. Imagine Billy Magnuson, Booster Gold, too. TikToker in the past.
Sorry, Shane, you're fired. Billy, you're in.
Billy Magnuson, Booster Gold.
I want Boyd Holbrook for Booster Gold.
Oh, my good friend Boyd Holbrook, whose interview you can see on the Breakroom channel, guys.
Right.
Me and Boyd chopping it up, talking about. He was very cagey when I asked him about what superhero he'd like to play. He's like, I don't even think about that. But my mom did send me this exact perfect casting about this Appalachian superhero. And I was like,
Cannonball.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're making an X-Men movie. I'm just saying.
You're right.
There you go. There's also a Paradise Lost series set, which is a Themyscira prequel series. I say prequel because it's supposed to take place before the creation of Wonder Woman.
God bless you.
Wonder Woman made of clay, of course.
God bless you.
And then, of course, we also have the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow film.
God, I just want it to be that
oh, man, she's so great.
I want that one page that James Gunn shared that's her sitting on the piece of Krypton, floating, just pissed off. I want like a Supergirl Fury. It's not going to be the girl from Flash.
I would wreck an entire continuity for Sasha Calle.
She was such a standout in that movie for me. I really wish that she would continue in that role, but we'll see.
Continuity be damned. Sasha Calle is Supergirl. Yeah. She's a Nexus being. She's every.
I mean, it's like Elseworld.
Yeah, this Supergirl doesn't have to be set.
A multiverse character can look the same as one we've.
Also, this doesn't have to be set in the DCU. It could be its own thing because Supergirl, the movie, could be, if it's based off the comic. So Tom King wrote the comics. One of my favorite Supergirl comics. It's actually one of my favorite DC comics of all time. He's writing the movie, which is the first time I've seen them do that correctly. Where it's like, this was good. Let's just do that. And I think if they do the comic linearly, there aren't other heroes in it. So you could have this be its own thing, which would be interesting.
The whole movie could just be her on her way to Earth kind of thing.
Well, the whole thing takes place. She's like hunting someone down. It's like she's just like that. It's a cosmic like hunt. They're hunting down someone. A girl is wronged and she wants to be the one to strike vengeance to save her spirit. She's like, you shouldn't be burdened with this evil. I'll do it for you. And they go on this quest.
It's a cosmic hunt.
I'm not gonna repeat that word.
Chunt?
Well, that's our upcoming slate for the DCU.
Or as I call it, the DCU.
Oh no. A lot of projects still in the work. We don't know too much. Everything kind of being put on hold due to the strikes and the work stoppage. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. But in the meantime, we've got to wait for one more DC movie to come out. Our little baby boy Aquaman 2 in the Lost Kingdom. And see what they do there. I don't know.
Just come on. Let him sing a song.
I think a song would be a great way.
Throw it all away. Record Jason Momoa doing like an I'm Just Ken, like.
Yeah. I think at the end of that movie should be all the Snyderverse people showing up.
High-fiving and walking in the sunset.
Yeah.
Just like goodbye.
With that Fast and the Furious song.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
But then Momoa from Fast and the Furious shows up and meets Aquaman. And all the other cast members, like Gal Gadot, who's in both.
Yes.
Just have all the multiverses. That's the team up. Boom. It's perfect.
It'd be beautiful.
All right.
Well, that's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube and give us a follow on Twitch where we do these videos live. You can chat with us there. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Late as gay as.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.